Hi, I'm Dan Ryan, and welcome to Rosemont Copper's broadcast of the University of Arizona Medical Center's 30th El Tour de Tucson, presented by Casino del Sol Resort in association with community partner Diamond Ventures. The El Tour de Tucson has been the premier cycling event in Arizona since 1983. Riders from every corner of the globe have been preparing for their chance to participate in the 30th El Tour, from places as far away as Turkey, Afghanistan, and even Japan, to take part in the spirit of adventure and giving promised by the greatest ride in the West. Throughout its history, the El Tour has raised over $33 million for charitable organizations and grown from 198 riding enthusiasts in its first year to over 9,000 riders annually and over 135,000 in total. Many lives are touched by the winding course of El Tour, not simply by the cyclists themselves, but also the lives of those in need, from local charities like Tu Nidito to global efforts like Polio Plus. The El Tour de Tucson speeds on with the magnanimous spirit of the West. The riders, ever pushing forward, striving for the horizon, carrying with them the charity of neighbors, friends, and family alike.
Once again, riders from all over the globe have brought their wheels to Tucson, Arizona to take part in the greatest ride in the West. Each one makes their own journey to the start line. Each rides for their own reason, each for their own cause. But on the third Saturday in November for the 30th time, they will all join together to take part in a celebration of triumph over adversity, 9,000 riders strong. The ride didn't become this big overnight. It started as a seed planted by a man daring enough to make a record-setting trek around the perimeter of the United States on a bicycle in 180 days. It was this journey that inspired Richard DeBernardis to become the driving force behind El Tour and create a ride that cycled the perimeter of Tucson.
We're coming into our 30th year, and I have to reflect back to the first day that I rode the perimeter of Tucson back on July 6, 1983.
In '83, when I bicycled the perimeter of Tucson, I just went out one summer day with a young fellow at the time, and while bicycling, I felt, wow, what a beautiful town we live in, you know, going around 4 mountain ranges. And I thought, gee, this would be a great ride someday to open up to people. I was just doing it for fun in the summertime at 106 degrees.
You know, the first year there was only about 150 cyclists, and it started in the parking lot of Sabino Canyon. And at that time, it was a pretty small deal. It was the first annual event, and to actually illuminate the start line so people could see where they needed to go, all the participants just turned their car lights on in order to kind of illuminate the start.
The first El Tour, held November 25th, 1983, drew 198 riders to its 4 unique start lines of 20, 50, 75, and 106 miles. Over the years, the seed planted by Richard D. Bernardus would grow with Tucson. The start lines would change distances and location, but the spirit of the ride held true and would attract more riders than anyone could have ever expected. The ride soon began to attract top riders from all over the world, both professional and amateur alike.
When I came here and I experienced my first event, I saw the amount of people and the excitement that kind of came around with the race, and meeting Richard for the first time, it literally became a staple in something that I did every year, even though I didn't have to go to this event. I mean, as my kind of career went on, I joined the Postal Service, I had other opportunities. I came to this event because of the experience I had the first time when I was on Team Saturn. I didn't win the event, I don't even think I placed in the top 10, but it was such a great event, so much fun, the people I loved, and it just has this allure that I can't really explain.
The excitement, the adventure, the atmosphere of people as they cycle along. People are so happy, and they had their families with them. They had their children cycling on the back with them. On, you know, there's the tandems. Mm-hmm. They were dressed up. I mean, there was fun. There was excitement. It was great. Loved it.
When I founded it, I wanted it to be an adventure. I wanted it to be fun. Because when I did the edge of the United States and the perimeter of Japan, I had all kinds of experiences, from crossing rivers and creeks to camping out at night and experiencing rain, but it was always meeting wonderful and neat people. And so when I created El Tour, I wanted it to be a fun, adventurous ride.
Though the signature creek crossings have become a little easier since the daring riders made their way across in 1983, they remain one of the ride's famous challenges and a signature part of the course.
Most road cycling events that you do, you get to ride on the road and you go as fast as you can, and there's really not much that gets in your way. The neat thing about El Tour is that you've got obstacles. In a way, it's kind of like a mini adventure race. It's fun to get off your bicycle and to walk through the water or to walk through the sand, whatever it happens to be in November.
The first, they call it the wash. It was just a really tight, compact dirt road, pretty much in and out, 300 meters. And the second one that everyone raved about is the pivotal one. It pretty much narrows down to about two riders wide, very sandy, so you get loose in there as you're riding, and you eventually get to a point where you have to dismount. And that section is about maybe 500 meters, and that's the defining moment of El Tour right there.
I remember the first few years that I did at Sabino Creek was really running and raging, and when you would walk through it, you'd be up to your knees in water.
The event is hard, it's challenging. I love the river crossings. I thought that was a cool event, something new, something I hadn't done before.
This crossing has been here, right where we are right now, 17 years. And this was established because years ago when I did the perimeter of Tucson, I couldn't find a way across the creek. I had to search and search. And we found this property. And as you can just see, look around you, the beauty of this property. You know, the mesquite trees, the running water. Where do you have running water in Tucson?
Behind these walls is the University of Arizona Medical Center, the premier academic medical center in Arizona. Here, you won't have just one doctor. You'll have multidisciplinary teams of specialists caring for you, with so much expertise that they also teach other doctors and nurses, using the most advanced technology and treatment options available. These are the people you want on your side. The University of Arizona Medical Center, because academic medicine is smart medicine.
What defines a local company? A management team made up of over 40 of your Tucson neighbors, including 10 Arizona natives and 6 U of A grads, many of whom are involved in the community in youth programs and food drives. They are an experienced team with over 400 years of work in the mining industry. One project will add 2,100 more local jobs. And the company that would meet these criteria is Rosemont Copper. Take a look at the real Rosemont. Visit rosemontcopper.com. Rosemont Copper, redefining mining.
As the ride's popularity grew, El Tour expanded its number of events to 6 by adding the Kids Fun Ride and the Indoor El Tour to make the ride more accessible to the whole community. At Desert View High School, the Indoor El Tour program has taken flight over the past 3 years.
As a group, my drama thespian troupe, we have decided that we were going to put more time into educating our community about wellness. When we heard about El Tour coming to Desert View, we decided that that was something that we wanted to do. So as a group, we came in and they went riding, and some of them are still riding to right now, and some of them finished with just a fun ride. But it was a really good thing for them to do to support wellness and to educate our community. What keeps them energized and keeps them going, which was what we'll see on the bikes, is they built a community within this community to educate, and so with them together, I feel like the message will get across.
When I had started working with this, my belief was that you can put on a great bicycling event and you can raise money at the same time. And that's always been our concept, is to raise money for charitable agencies that have a cause that affects our society in some way.
The cool thing about El Tour is everybody that comes to this event has a goal, right? They really do have a goal, but the goals are across the board. When you go to a bicycle race, everybody has the goal of winning the event, right? But when you come to El Tour, some people want to win the event. Some people want to make platinum, some people want to make gold, some people want to finish, some people would just want to finish in under, just raise enough money and get to the finish line for the first time they've ever done the event. And to have everybody in the same exact peloton, I think is magical. In no other sporting event do you have the absolute professionals riding as hard as they can, and someone who's just learned how to ride a bike trying to do their first century riding together. And that's, to me, is where there's this magic that's made between all the cyclists, and we're all 100% respecting of everybody else's goal, no matter that's the win or just a finish. And as you start to progress in the sport of cycling, from a physical standpoint, that's great, but from a mental standpoint, you start to learn and understand that to really feel good about riding, you need to ride for somebody more than yourself.
El Tour's main focus has always been on charity and community. In 1996, El Tour created the Beneficiary Program to expand its ability to help local and national charities alike.
Actually, that first year we were just developing our services and received some monies, and then the first year that we were fully operational, we were the primary beneficiary. And that year we helped 12 families, and El Tour accounted for almost 75% of the monies that we needed that year just to get us going and off the ground. Since that time, 16 years later, we've grown from those 12 families to this year we'll help about 700 families. And that growth is all because of the history that we have with El Tour and PBAA.
So my first El Tour was 3 years ago now. I got involved through a close friend of my family and a supporter of my foundation, the Bahati Foundation. And he got me involved with Tunadito, and that had a really strong impact on me.
A couple of years ago, we started the Ride for a Child program, whereby riders can choose a level that they raise $500, and they're matched with a Tunadito child to ride in their honor.
Well, when we originally came up with the idea, it was pretty exciting to think about individuals like myself, and now many, many others. We're hoping for 200 this year who will be riding for a child like myself.
This year we've added Ride for a Child Junior, and so we're really trying to share that benevolence with younger kids and letting them actually ride for a Tunadito child. We continue to add programs. This coming up next year, we're going to do satellite programs in remote parts of our county, and that's the big thing that's coming up. We've started new groups. We continue to add groups. We just started one called Angel Ties for families who have had a child die. We go out in conferences or whatever now, and people can't believe the type of services that we're able to offer. We would love to get into Phoenix and Flagstaff and the world. It is part of our vision. Our strategic vision right now is that no child grieves alone, and that's a nationwide problem.
There needs to be a bigger cause or a bigger reason why you ride your bicycle. I think everybody eventually gets there. It took me a while. I was racing my bike since I was the age of 8, and I didn't start to get that feeling until I came to El Tour way back in 95, 96. And from that point on, you realize that there's a much better feeling in finishing something that way more people in the world gain than just yourself. So I think that's kind of where I got that feeling here, and ever since then, A lot of the big events that we do, a lot of the big rides that myself and Vision Quest Coaching does, we raise money for something else. And when you're really starting to suffer, if you're in an event that's really challenging like El Tour, it's a lot easier to get through that suffering when you have not only yourself you're thinking about, but maybe someone with, leukemia or someone with diabetes that every mile that you ride, they're going to benefit from it. So it's a little bit easier to dig a little bit deeper when there's other people on the line.
El Tour has also formed a strong partnership with global efforts like Rotary Polio Plus.
In 1985, Rotary International, a non-governmental organization, took on the challenge of eradicating polio. It's only the second time in history that someone's tried to eradicate a disease. The first disease which was eradicated was smallpox. So Rotary International, an NGO, is probably the first time in history, again, that an NGO has taken on the task of eradicating a disease. In 1988, we were joined by the World Health Organization, by the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, and by UNICEF, and more recently by the Gates Foundation. We started with 125 countries that had polio. We're now down to 3. Afghanistan, Pakistan, and northern Nigeria. So we're extremely close to eradicating polio. Last year, Rotarians raised over $100,000 in the tour. This year we set our goal at $200,000, and I'm happy to say that we've actually raised to date about $375,000. It's a great event, and the beauty of an event such as this is that with that $375,000, we're going to be able to immunize about 1 million kids in the world against polio.
Imagine how $19 million more a year in the local treasury could help our police and fire departments and our underfunded schools. $19 million a year. That could help a lot. And that's how much Rosemont Copper would add to our regional tax base annually. Money that could keep our police and fire protection strong, rejuvenate schools, and help with some road repair. It's just one more way Rosemont is being a good neighbor. Take a look at the real Rosemont. Visit rosemontcopper.com. Rosemont Copper, redefining mining.
El Tour de Tucson has always pushed its riders to achieve, championing the triumph of human spirit over adversity of any kind, mental or physical.
I want these challenges in life to be looked at as challenges, and we can all get over challenges as long as we work hard enough. And that's what El Tour is all about, is working hard to reach that challenge.
When we started the sponsorship, our organization kind of got together and challenged each employee, each staff member to kind of become involved. And that was my first step to being involved. So our organization strives for prevention, helping people realize that a lot of chronic diseases start with lifestyle.
I've gotten involved with the Parkinson's Association now for about 8 years, and exercise is a big component of helping people with Parkinson's. It's been proven that people with Parkinson's get out and exercise, and it seems to be repetitive type of exercise. So cycling, running on the treadmill, those that can still do it, those kinds of things basically help with the neuroplasticity and actually help with their movement.
When I cycle, I don't have Parkinson's. It was last year I was going to ride the indoor El Tour because I didn't think I was up for riding a bike. And they said, no, this is down at the gym. They said, why don't you try the outdoor El Tour? And I said, talked to my wife, she said, try it. And so we did, and we raised a lot of money and had a great ride. I said, well, let's do it again this year.
The concept is to be the very last person to cross the start line and have 4,000 to 5,000 cyclists of the 111-mile distance in front of me. And we've pledged a lot of corporate sponsors and individuals to pledge anything from a penny upwards of $1 or more for every cyclist that I pass.
And I spent time with the disabled groups in our country, published the first Surgeon General's call to action on the health of persons with disability, and next year Richard and the leadership of the tour have decided that they will have a big push and a separate program within the tour for cyclists who are disabled, so we can get them in here. So I anticipate that the tour is going to continue to grow as we bring in many other populations who find that cycling can be good for their health, irrespective of their disability, because they're still able in so many other ways.
My name is Seth Arsenault, and I'm here with the Paralyzed Veterans Racing Team. And I think we had a group of about 12 of us here today, and just came down for El Tour. It's a fantastic ride, and couldn't ask for a better day. Beautiful weather, and everything logistically went well. So we had a heck of a ride today. This is my hand cycle, and did the 42 miler on it today, and which I went pretty fast. I rode hard. You know, a few of us did it. You know, just a little over 2 hours, and so we were moving out there. But it's still hard work, you know.
My name's Harold Warner. It's my 10th year of doing L Tour, and I'm an L1 paraplegic, just had an amputation, and so riding to just stay fit, have fun, ride with others, have a good time, keep the streak alive.
What defines a local company? A management team made up of over 40 of your Tucson neighbors, including 10 Arizona natives and 6 U of A grads, many of whom are involved in the community in youth programs and food drives. They are an experienced team with over 400 years of work in the mining industry. One project will add 2,100 more local jobs. And the company that would meet these criteria is Rosemont Copper. Take a look at the real Rosemont. Visit rosemontcopper.com. Rosemont Copper, redefining mining.
Today, healthcare in Arizona has become 6 times stronger because now UMC, Diamond Children's, UPH Hospital, Physicians Group, health plans, and affiliated clinics have all formed the state's first academic medical network, bringing world-renowned specialists and leading-edge care to more people than ever. Introducing the University of Arizona Health Network, because academic medicine is smart medicine.
Each year, El Tour honors some of the world's greatest humanitarians and cyclists by dedicating the ride to them. This year's celebration was held at Casino del Sol Resort in Tucson, Arizona.
You know, just love the enthusiasm of everyone involved and the people coming from all over the country for the tour of Tucson. We'd like to give back to Tucson. All of our donations are to Tucson-based charities. Small thank you for all that they've done for us.
Many former dedication recipients will be in attendance when this year's honoree, Andy Clark, president of the League of American Bicyclists, has the ride formally dedicated to him.
It was humbling. You know, I didn't feel like I deserved to be the dedication recipient. I was a bike racer, a family person, a person who loves the sport of cycling, but there's so many great people that have impacted so many more lives than I have that I felt a little bit nervous about being a dedication recipient, but it was a huge, huge honor, and I can tell you that on all my resumes and anything I move forward, I always put that I was a dedication recipient to El Tour de Tucson.
I was blessed to be the recipient last year, so once I guess you're the recipient, you're in for life.
So I work for the League of American Bicyclists, which is a national membership organization of cyclists. We've been around since 1880. We have a fantastic history and tradition going back before the age of the automobile. And our mission today is just as it was in 1880, to encourage more people and enable more people to get out and enjoy the benefits of riding a bike. It's a great, healthy activity, and we want as many people to enjoy it as we can. What an incredible sight to have 9,000 cyclists right there on the road with you, to see a line of cyclists stretching back as far as the eye could see at 6:30 in the morning. Just the excitement, the joy that it was evidently going to give people was a great way to start the day.
The next day, Andy catches up with cyclists at El Tour's Signature Expo, an important part of the $20 million El Tour brings to Tucson each year. This year it is once again sponsored by Sanofi Aventis.
Over the last few years, we've been sponsors of the 40-mile race for El Tour, and it's been exciting for us to be a participant and a sponsor of El Tour.
Imagine how $19 million more a year in the local treasury could help our police and fire departments and our underfunded schools. $19 million a year. That could help a lot. And that's how much Rosemont Copper would add to our regional tax base annually. Money that could keep our police and fire protection strong, rejuvenate schools, and help with some road repair. It's just one more way Rosemont is being a good neighbor. Take a look at the real Rosemont. Visit rosemontcopper.com. Rosemont Copper, redefining mining.
The true reward for riders comes at the finish, where hard work and determination are on display all afternoon.
Crossing the finish line every year is actually pretty much one of the biggest reasons why I do the event, only because I've never experienced such incredible energy and sort of homecoming warming. Even winning world championships and time trials, you just never feel that energy. And then as much as you go through the whole event, and, you're hurting going through the headwind, you're hurting climbing the hills, and you think to yourself, why the heck am I doing this? This is just so darn hard. And then as soon as you cross that finish line, suddenly you forget about all of it and you can't wait to do it again next year.
Oh, El Tour is just really Tucson to me. It's such a community event. People of all walks of life, all abilities come together, and it's just a really good time.
The finish line, and this year, platinum.
The whole atmosphere, the community obviously loves cycling. It's just a great thing to be a part of.
Favorite memory was crossing the finish line, definitely.
We're really proud and excited to sponsor the Downtown Fiesta this year. Very excited at the impact it has on Tunadito and also on the Tucson economy, bringing almost $20 million into our economy in this 1 week.
You're done. When you finish that race and you've given everything you've got, and you're stumbling as you run across the finish line, or you're about to fall off that bike and collapse when you finish that race, you feel really, really good about yourself.
It's almost like you have to do it to really get the full sense of what it feels like to cross the finish line of El Tour de Tucson. And unlike any other event, everybody that finishes, you feel like a world champion. And I think that's what makes El Tour special and so different, is that not the first place person is just acknowledged, or the second place person, but the 6,000th person. Everybody who crosses the finish line is made to feel like a winner. You get a medallion as soon as you cross the finish line, you get fed, you get massaged. And so I think everybody who finishes, whether you do it in 4.5 hours or 12.5 hours, you feel like a world champion.
Since 1983, El Tour de Tucson has been an indispensable partner to the Tucson community. The willingness of El Tour and its participants to continually rise to the challenge of helping those in need makes it the embodiment of the spirit of the West. For this, the 30th year of El Tour de Tucson, the great state of Arizona also celebrates its 100 years as a beacon of creativity and adventure. May this momentous race mark the beginning of 100 more to come. For Rosemont Copper, I'm Dan Ryan. Happy holidays, everyone, and we'll see you back here next year.